character out here. This is important. The job name has to have 8 characters, and our usernames are only 7, so just add some character out here. You'll notice that I took that A off the end there. That is important to do. It's not C332219A.cobol.source lab07B. It's C332219.cobol.source. So make sure you fix that everywhere you see it. Take those A's out of there and put in the unique number for your ID. So the step 1 here, let's see, we got our job name, got that line. Step 1, we're going to execute this program, and this program is going to do a compile, a link edit, and an execution of our COBOL program. So the first thing you specify is your COBOL sysin, and you give it the DSN of where your source is at, which I've done. And then down here, we're going to skip the link specification here. It's going to do that for us automatically, but we don't need to control it at all, so we're just going to skip over that and go straight to the go statements here. So go.infile, if you look in my source code, infile is the DD name that I assign StuMass to, and StuMass is what I'm using as my file descriptor. And then outFile is what I assign outReport to, and outReport is what I'm using for my file descriptor for output. So you need to use your whatever you have assigned to X and assigned to Y. That's what's going to go here. Go X, go Y. Got that? So go in file. That's the student master record, and make sure that's over there. And then the out file is wherever I want my output to go. And disposition is new, catalog, and delete. So it's going to create a new one if it doesn't exist, which it does not. So we'll get a new one after this executes, if everything works okay. The other thing that's really important here is that your logical record length, this number 51, well, if you'll recall from the lab specifications, we're writing 50, well, I can show you in my source code, we're writing 50 characters to our output file. The reason I have 51 here is because the mainframe has special print control characters that it has to put in the first column, and so the record needs to be +1. Whatever your output length is, your record length is, add 1 to that. That's what you're going to put in your JCL for the LRECL statement. Then this block size needs to be a multiple of that record length, and I'm not sure if we can leave it 0. In fact, I'll do a little experiment here. We'll make that 0, and we'll see if it makes any difference. So we'll save that. Everything else looks okay, and we'll go ahead and close everything but the JCL. So the JCL is the job control language, and it's what's going to manage the whole life cycle of this COBOL program. So you can right-click on it over here and go to submit. I don't like to do that because you get a little window and it says your job's been submitted and you have to click OK. I just like to click on my JCL source over here, right-click and go to submit. Then you don't get the window and it saves you like 2 seconds, but that's just me. So to see your output, now that that ran, nothing changed. Didn't give us any indication that it was good or bad or what. So you have to come over here to JES and come down to My Jobs, and sometimes you have to refresh this, your My Jobs. You just right-click and refresh, and there's our job output. So we'll double-click it, and we had an error here. What you're looking for is a 0 in the go step, and we had a U-bend, and that's bad. And so we want to find out what happened. It's going to probably be towards the bottom here. So an unsuccessful open or close. Okay, I can tell you exactly what the problem is. I fought with this for hours until I figured it out, and I'm glad I did it again so I could tell you about it. So we close that output window. One thing we want to always make sure we do is purge our stale output, because this takes up space on the mainframe, and you just don't want jobs collecting. It's just bad form. So be a good user and come over here to your jobs. When you're done looking at its output, right click on it and purge it, and that gets rid of it. So where I screwed up in my source code is where I'm selecting my files here, in file and out file. I have organization as line sequential, and that was important on the local COBOL compile. It had to be specified line sequential, but on the mainframe, I don't know if there's no such thing as line sequential or what, but you just make it sequential. Organization is sequential. And we'll save our source code. And we'll close that. Right click on our JCL and submit it again. Go to My Jobs, right click, refresh, check our new job output, and look at that. Go, return code 0. That means everything ran okay. Now our actual output from the program doesn't show up here, because in our JCL our output is going to this guy. And you'll notice that it didn't refresh. It's not showing up over here. So what you need to do is go to MVS files and refresh that. And I don't see my output, so let's try this again. Maybe we need to refresh my data sets. Voila. Double click that. We'll go look at the output from our COBOL program, and everything looks pretty good. We don't have the empty line in here because that's what I was talking about. This mainframe uses a special control character. These zeros in the first column mean insert a line break there. So when you'd actually print this out, you'd get a blank line everywhere you see those zeros. So that's it. I hope this helps you get on the right track. Be sure to leave a comment or question below, and we'll see you in class.